Good afternoon guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we're back out on the golf course. We're with the man that is 3 under going on to the 4th hole at his home club. So we're out here for the next couple of weeks doing some course management, seeing where this mid-handicapper, this 12 handicap golfer goes wrong, or so far he's not gone wrong. So it's been going that well, we're not quite sure if there's any point in being here. We're going to get straight into it. Last week we finished on stroke index 18, we're now on stroke index 1, so in comes Dave. So like you said there, you don't know how you managed it last week.
No, it normally doesn't go quite as well as this, I will admit.
No, it's the elusive, it's not with a card in the hand.
That's possibly what it could be, yeah.
That's what
Happens
it
to
is.
a lot of us, does that?
It certainly does, but here we go, stroke index 1, dog leg to the left. So Dave's using the left side of the tee again. One big thing we mentioned last week and something you need to take advantage of is using the tee box to your advantage. So if Dave goes to the left side, he can aim a little bit further down the right half of the fairway, and then he knows if he does turn it over a bit too much, he's still in the fairway or just in the rough. And that is another fantastic shot. Straight down the middle, a little bit of a draw, and we could be getting there in 2, Dave.
Phew.
Right, so a fairway found there for Dave. So this is very reminiscent of the winter series. Dave hit a similar shot here, but Dave birdied this hole in the winter series.
I think you're asking a lot for me to do it again.
The pressure's
Chris.
on, but we are 3 under, Dave, so obviously even if we just get this on the green, and this is where you've hit a good drive, and we don't need to be over the top trying to go for this. If Dave gets anywhere down near the green, he's got a shot and he doesn't need to be chasing. So how far have we got, Dave?
It's 211, so what you're saying, don't take me 3 wood out, just lay up with a rescue or something?
Again, you can go with a 3 wood, but it's not trying to swing out of your boot. So if you're confident with your 3 wood off the deck, off this lie, then we can go with this, but we're not trying to be obviously over trying to get this. All right, if I set it on the right half and draw it back, it's going to go to 2 feet. Let's just go middle of the green, and if it does miss the green, we're still in play.
Well, the one thing that happens with my 3 wood is that I do tend to fade it a little bit. I don't know how.
Okay.
So I was thinking I'm going to go for that big tree on the left-hand side.
Yep, so go for the big tree just left of there. We've also got a dike on the right-hand side, so if Dave was to go for the right-hand side of the green,
Thanks for reminding me, Chris.
then obviously it could bring some trouble in. So Dave can go for his normal shot here. Even if it was then close to the tree, Dave can chip to the middle of the green. He's got 2 putts to get out of there with 2 Point Stableford or a net par if he was playing a medal. Again, these are the things you need to consider. If you hit a hybrid from here and leave yourself 40-50 yards, do you like that kind of shot or not? Because if you don't, you'd be better off getting as close as possible or leaving yourself a full shot.
Bit pulley, Chris.
A little bit.
But a nice bounce.
It tried to draw around, it tried to fade a little bit, but it was pretty straight, so that's just to the left of that tree, so it'll be an interesting chip shot. So we can just about see the ball. Sat down here, we need to see if we've got a shot. So just about we can get past this tree, but it's going to be a very tricky shot for here, so it's all about taking your medicine from here. So what would you do, Dave, if you had this shot?
Once I'd finished stamping my feet and having a cry.
Are you going left? Are you going right?
I'm going left.
Going left, okay. Are you going at the flag?
No, because if I go left and go at the flag, if I just go slightly right of the left, I'm hitting that tree.
Very true. So club-wise, what are you thinking for flight?
I'm thinking probably thinking a 9-iron because I can't get it all the way. I don't want it to go up. And I'm thinking, I know it's sort of taking a chance, but kind of landing it here-ish.
Okay.
It's going to miss left because it hopefully should roll up onto the green.
Right, well let's see it, Dave. You've talked a fantastic
What would you do,
shot
Chris?
Here. Well, I can't disclose that information until you've hit the shot.
So that does mean I've picked the wrong shot. Thanks for that.
So obviously Dave's looking to land it there in the rough. Do we know how that is going to bounce? I'm not so sure. As a result, he doesn't want to be leaving himself down there. So if he doesn't quite get onto the green, he's then got a tricky short-sided chip shot to here. So for me, my play will be suggesting go to the right of the tree, play into that bigger area there, and then just put up towards the hole. But Dave could prove me wrong. again, every dog has his day. So just
Not
like
as
that.
planned, Christopher.
Didn't land. So Dave, what I want you to do now is grab a pitching wedge and just chip to the front edge of the green.
There.
Yes, correct. That would be the front edge of the green, just to clarify for everyone. So not bad from Dave. Dave could 2-putt from there, so it's not too bad, but you see that we didn't know how it was going to land in there. So Dave's going to get his pitching wedge, get another ball, just a nice little...
So basically what you're saying is that, I mean, I couldn't hear you from over there, but I've dropped lucky there because I can still hit a putt.
Yeah, we did say up there that every dog has his day if you chipped it close, but again, we can just play right of the tree here, play a nice motion, we can land it just short of the green onto the fringe, and it'll get some height, a nice easy putting motion.
Bit boring though, isn't it, Chris?
Extremely boring, but that's inside 25 feet. It's got an uphill putt, pretty straight, and Dave would have a good chance of giving that a roll. Yes, we'd expect him to 2-putt from there, not 1-putt, but how much easier was that shot than relying that? When a card's in your hand, you're gripping it a bit tighter, you've hit a great drive, you're disappointed with a second.
Yeah, but then you've got to listen to Scottish Paul saying that, you know, you're scared.
Well, what's Scottish Paul off at the moment?
17.
Says it all. Scottish Paul. Play safe, Scottish Paul. Right, so Dave can pick that one up. We'll play the one that you've been doing to see this score keep going. So currently 3 under. Dave's got 2 putts here to obviously be level on this hole because it is stroke index 1. So comment below, guys. So far, what have you taken away from these videos? Is it obviously using the teacher advantage? Is it maybe club selection? It's taking into account all kinds of things. What kind of shot shape? Where is the trouble? You can see Dave, as a lot of it has come down to short game. So do you practice your short game? Have you been for a short game lesson? If you are looking, drop me an email.
Oh, I thought that would
email below. Very good. Quite pacey the greens this morning. So green staff are out here doing a great job at Garforth. They are rolling the greens, cutting the greens fresh for us this morning.
We had a quick conversation with one of them, didn't we, early doors, Chris?
We did. Very friendly golf club here at Garforth, so in great condition, as most courses are this time of the year, especially with the weather we've had. Hopefully it's a little bit warmer next week. But here we go. Dave for a 5 for 4. No problem. Right, let's move on to the first par 3 of this series, playing the course with Dave. Again, we're going to have Frankie out on the golf course as well. He's going to be using some game improvement irons, so a full set of game improvement woods, irons, wedges and putter to see what he can score as a 2 handicap golfer. And then we've got the match between MID Handicap Dave and Frankie.
See, I'm happy with that, Chris, because over those 2 holes, I've averaged 4 shots, 8 shots over those 2 holes. You'd always be happy.
Yes, you would be happy. So a nice birdie on the hole with 4, and then what you'd probably expect from your stroke index 1. So par 3, Dave, what have we got?
182, Chris.
182.
182.
182. So a little bit into the breeze, a little bit uphill. So we're probably playing a 190 shot here, Dave. So hybrid, 3 hybrid.
It's a 4 hybrid.
4 hybrid.
4 hybrid. But yeah.
And what shot shape do you normally hit with this?
It's a very good question, Chris. No, it usually goes left. So I'm going to start it sort of
so you're going to stay
just on the left-hand side of the right-hand bunker.
Okay, perfect. So you're going to go left side of the tee box?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Aim up the right-hand side. Again, a very tricky entrance to this green. Obviously bunkers nice and tight, protecting the green. Here we've got to think Dave made a great up and down, I believe, in the Winter Series from the right-hand bunker.
That's right, yeah.
But we have to trust that this club is going to get over.
People are still talking about it.
Well, the fans are still going wild.
Not as much as when I held out at Woolio.
That is true, that was also a very good chip. Now, 4 hybrid. So some people might ask, why is it the 4 hybrid and not the 4 iron? Again, this is going to be launching a little bit higher than the 4 iron potentially. And that's what we want. We need a little bit more landing angle. And that is, again, towering shot coming back. Is it over, Dave?
No.
No.
Nearly did.
It's not
Thought
there.
about it.
He tried, it had a good bounce, so launched nice and high. Did try to jump over the bunker, but that's in there. But again, a 4 iron might have landed 10 yards shorter, got stuck in the rough and left Dave a more awkward chip shot. Right, Dave's reaching straight for that club that he did chip him with a couple of weeks ago. So, bunker.
Tell me, I tend to always use this 56 out of sand around the green. Would you sometimes use that 52?
Again, for a longer shot, you could potentially use it, but it depends. What we see a lot is people just start to slow down because they think they've got too little loft. So they go for the 52 because this is a longer shot, and slow down and never get it out of the bunker. So Dave was mentioning there, obviously aimed a little bit too far right there, and this is a common thing. If you do feel like you overdraw it a little bit, you sometimes get a little bit too far right. If Dave had just aimed just right of the flag, there's a puddle there just because of sprinklers. It hasn't rained in weeks, but again, thinking about where you aim off the tee, because then if you square everything up and make a great swing, you then punish. So think about where the trouble is. If Dave had gone a little bit straighter, he would actually be probably back left of the green with maybe an easier shot than this. So think about your
Soft
shot.
sand here, Chris. They've just sorted the bunkers out and we've got a lot better sand this year, but it hasn't quite bedded down right yet.
So we need plenty of bounce there, we need plenty of speed. So we're going to open that club wide up, keep the speed through the shots. If you've got a lot of sand, again, we want to get those feet setting, so we don't want much movement laterally from the body. Open the club up. And that's what can happen. Is there, you can see.
That's what can happen when you hit the sand about 3 foot behind the ball, mate.
Extremely long divot from there. He's tried to go a little bit too hard, lost his balance and his footing. We are out, so obviously the bounce has helped him there, but that's what we need to see. When there is a lot of sand, you've got to make sure you're keeping your stance, keeping your balance, so you can control your low point. But a little bit of a long putt. Let's see if we can get out of here with a 2 putt. This is an interesting putt, so it's outside 33 feet, which is on tour where the players will be more expected to 3 putt than 2 putt. So if you do 3 putt from this range, don't beat yourself up. It was the shot before that has obviously held you back.
Oh dear, oh dear.
So you can hear oh dear from Dave, as that is a testing putt. But like I said there, on tour they will be expected to 3 putt here more than the 2 putt. So be realistic when you're putting, so don't be too harsh on yourself. So, can Dave 2 putt? He's done his read. So,
Oh dear.
a good putt there, just, well, a little bit misread because it's a good pace, it's nice and positive, it's a foot past, but Dave gave it a little bit more than it needed. We dropped back to 200. 6 hole on the final hole of this week, so par 4, 409 yards, stroke index 4. Dave gets a shot after dropping one on the first
Still
par
gutted
3.
about it, Chris. Still all that good work on the first 5 holes.
Exactly, Dave. So this hole, Dave, all slopes from left to right.
Yeah.
So where are you going to tee up? What is the shot?
I'm actually going to tee up more to the middle of the hole.
Okay.
For me, that post always seems in the wrong place, but it's not, because if you go straight over it, it actually takes a bounce and goes down to the right-hand side. So I'm going to sort of aim probably 5-10 yards to the right-hand side of that post.
I'd say posts aren't always in the right position, but on this hole it certainly is. Dave's aiming a little bit to the right of it because of his usual draw. That'll then feed it back down into the fairway, hopefully. Again, if it overturns this, it'll still stay up there in the rough. So Dave's been driving well so far this morning, so let's hopefully continue that. I can see down at the green we've got a red flag, so potentially at the front of the green. Well, it should be at the front of the green. So it'll be interesting to see a downhill shot. What does that do to club selection? So started straight over it, Dave. Is that hit too well? Bounce.
It should be fine. It's not exactly where I wanted it to be because it won't have bounced. It'll have gone into the semi-rough, so it won't have bounced down into the fairway. But
Yeah,
it is what it is.
Bounce very straight, but a good shot. But that should still leave us a good angle into the green. But now we need to think about a downhill shot. What do we need to change? So, like Dave said, just stayed up in the rough, very similar to where we were in the winter series, and I think it's pretty much exactly the same flag, so we must have came on the same day, Dave. But downhill here, just past, well, just longer than the 150 mark, so obviously we're going to probably have about 155, but with the slope, Dave, what is it saying?
With the slope, it's saying 144, Chris.
144, so obviously downhill that's taking 10 yards straight off, so 144, a little bit downwind, Dave. The ball is sat down in the rough, so we might not get it coming out as hot as we'd want. So what club are you thinking, Dave?
I'm thinking 7 or 8, Chris.
Okay. So again, long of the green here is a...
No, 8. I'm going 8.
Yeah, good choice, Dave. Long of the green here is a dike or some water. So obviously the play here for Dave, even if he doesn't get it perfectly, it's downhill, so it should run towards the front of the green. We have got a shot. If he gets a good one, we should be on.
Cockbeck, it's called, Chris.
Oh, there you go. Here's Dave's hitting us with the facts of Garforth as a die-hard member. So, in you come, Dave. 8 iron. Let's think here. So this is club selection. This may be normally a 7 iron for Dave, but because it's downhill, this is what a lot of people miss out on, Dave. They don't take into account uphill and downhill. They just get a number and they just go, right, that is this club, so I must hit this club.
Using that rangefinder then with the slope on, obviously you can't do that on a weekend when it's a competition. So it's something I never really do, but I'm surprised that it makes that much difference. That's like 12 yards.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that, but you look at the Millisy rangefinder, again, a nice affordable rangefinder that Dave has had for a while. But slope, start to know on your golf course, yes, you can't use it in competition, but if you go out here like we are today, start to figure out how much slope are on certain holes so you can club correctly. So not Dave's best shot at all.
It's a bit of a skinny one, but it's still going, you know.
So very thick rough, snagged the club, launched extremely low, but it has chased down there. We can see that has ran down there to around about probably 10 yards short, so Dave could still get out of here with a birdie, because again Dave gets a shot on here, so not his best shot, but we can still get out of here at worst with a net par and stop the rot. Dave's a little bit further back, so probably 25 yards here, so Dave's just gone to have a look because there's a little bit of a dip there in the front of the green, so Dave needs to think, is he going to carry it over that? Greens are quite firm, obviously, in the season now, so is he going to run this up or is he going to go through the air? So Dave, what's the shot?
I'm not going to go through air, Chris. I'm going to drop it about, hopefully, 3 or 4 yards short of that, where it starts to dip, and it should run. I'm going to take a pitching wedge and it should run down the hill, back up the hill, and hopefully to about a foot.
Oh, it's a great story, this, Dave. So, yeah, no need to go aerial here. Again, a lot of people would go high tower if I've got to land it on the green. I don't want to go here. But we know this is fairway cut. We know this how this is going to react. So it's not like Dave's chip shot a couple of weeks ago, round the trees and through the rough. This is going to land just short of that ridge there, and then hopefully run up to the green. So just give himself a chance. And that's a good shot from there.
Thank you.
So again, probably 15 feet. So that's a good shot from there for Dave. So he's giving himself a chance here of an outside par, but if not, he's getting out there using his shot to his advantage, getting out with a net par, getting out with 2 points, and moving on to next week, where we start on a par 3, which has been Dave's downfall so far.
You see, as mid-handicappers, you kind of beat yourself up on that a little bit because you expect it to be about 3 foot away. And it shouldn't be, should it?
Now, again, tour averages would be saying that that's obviously you're probably going to be 5 or 6 feet from there, because there's not much green to work with. It's downhill, greens away from you. Yes, we can get a little bit of spin, but we've got a firm green. So for a mid-handicap golfer, anything inside 25 feet where we have got a good chance of two putting is good. We don't want to be taking it high tariff, flop shot, finishing in the ditch here, or hitting the thin into the beck that is over the back of the green.
Oh no, too hard.
Oh, so a little bit of a push and a wee bit firm there, Dave. It's the famous last words. We said he'd done a good chip and then he's actually given it a little bit too much.
I think the chip was nearer than the putt nearly, Chris.
Dave's trying to get back to level par. So that was a classic there where the putter's just gone off in Dave's hand. He's done some good practice strokes there. Was a little bit longer over the ball, which then lost a little bit of his feel. So practice swing, in, set, and pull the trigger. So a much better routine there, much quicker over the ball. That's a par. We stay at 2 under, and we'll see you next week here at Garforth.
See you soon.